Hello and welcome to Blue Jays Today, where we always have something to say about the Blue Jays. I'm your host, Nick.
And I'm Adam, and today we have amazing news that we've been waiting for literally for months, forever, and that is that the Blue Jays, and more importantly, the entire MLB is going to be playing in 2020. Yeah, I have no words to express how I feel. How do you feel, Nick?
I feel pretty great. I feel like all of my hopes and my prayers were answered. I feel like an idiot for the last video that we just made. Our first video ever was like confirmed false almost immediately after we put it out. But you know what? If I was ever going to be wrong about anything, I'm really happy that it's this.
Absolutely. And, so in this podcast today, we want to kind of talk about what are some of the new rule changes and some of the schedule looks, as well as what this could mean for the Toronto Blue Jays. So we know for sure that it's going to be played on either July 23rd or July 24th.
Yeah.
And that camps are going to open July 1st, and I'm really excited to see if there's any games. We don't know what's the details, but it's coming soon.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. We're going to do a video later on, and it's going to be projecting the win totals of all the teams in our division, most importantly the Toronto Blue Jays, but we are stuck with a pretty tough schedule. The way that they have this laid out is in our 60 games, we're going to be playing 40 of those against 4 teams, and 3 out of those 4 teams finished with a better record than 500 last year.
Yeah, and it's in our division, the AL East, so it's going to be the New York Yankees, the Boston Red Sox, Baltimore Orioles, which is nice, Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah.
But also Tampa Bay Rays, who is a definite wild card contender.
Yeah, absolutely. And to top it off, then we end up with 6 more games against a Philadelphia Phillies team who did finish the season last year in 500, but, was kind of projected to do better than that this season. So it's going to be a tough schedule either way you kind of spin it for us.
And then to round out the list, you literally have the NL East. You have the New York Mets, the Atlanta Braves. You have literally the reigning champions, the Washington Nationals. And who else is in the NL East? Who am I missing? Oh, the Marlins. There's one more.
You know something interesting about the Nationals, though?
Yeah.
And we were doing some research about what this would look like, a 60-game season. What a 60-game season would look like if it was last year.
Yeah.
And obviously the Nationals, great team, clutched the World Series last season, but they weren't even in playoff contention at that time, 60 games in.
Yeah, I'll read it off to you right here. The NL East looked like this, 60 games in. Philadelphia was leading with a 33-27 record. And then right behind them was Atlanta, same record, 33-27. But then you had the Mets in third with 28-32. And then the Nationals actually were 27-33. And the Miami Marlins, who cares about those guys? They were never in contention.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting because this shortened season, I think we all know it's going to be changed. It's going to change a lot of what should have happened or what could have happened with a full 162 games. So, but honestly, it's kind of interesting and fun. It's almost like for the Jays, it's kind of just like a little warm-up preview for what 2021 could be.
Yeah, and I think the stats of players are going to be crazy. I don't even know what people were hitting in 60 games in, but Bellinger was probably hitting close to 500 at that point. And it's like the stats are just going to be so skewed about batting average, and anyone who leads the league in RBIs, what are they going to have, 40?
It's gonna
50.
and it's really just, that's why I'm thinking it's just gonna be a test this year. And especially with this, we're facing 10 games against the Yankees, Boston. Literally half our schedule is Yankees, Boston, and the Tampa Bay Rays. So it's for the Jays, obviously we're going through a transition right now, a rebuild, and this was hopefully gonna this season was gonna sort out our outfield problems and our pitching problems. So it is still going to be like that, but it's also going to be a test for the younger infield squad to kind of get some reps in and prove that they can play against some monsters.
Well, I think you were telling me before this video, you were saying this would be a great opportunity to bring up some of the young prospects that we have right now. You know,
Yes.
take this season, take this 60 games, and use it to give these guys some experience. So who are the guys that you had in mind?
Yeah, so obviously Nate Pearson, and Nick's been hearing me talk about Nate Pearson for a long time.
Yeah. Well, don't get me wrong, man.
I love that guy.
I am excited. We're both extremely excited. Anyone who is touching 100 miles per hour consistently, you have my attention, pal.
Yeah, Nate Pearson for sure. And well, here's the thing. Before I go into the other two. They're going to have a 30-player roster, and then after 2 weeks it goes down to 28, then after 4 weeks down to 26. So by this point, we should know whether we're contending or not in this really short season.
Yeah.
So it gives some of these people like Nate Pearson, Woods Richardson, and Jordan Grosjean some like opportunity to kind of try out for next year, right? Because there's really nothing at. I guess you wouldn't say the season isn't like obviously as important as other seasons or people. Whoever's going to win this year. It's always going to be that asterisk next to it. It's like, they played in a shortened season, so...
Well, you're going to have that where people are always going to say, even if it was the Toronto Blue Jays, they go, it's not a real win.
Mm-hmm.
Although I think that we're going to know what this season is going to look like for the Blue Jays 10 games in.
Yeah.
I think that, if we start and we come out the gates crazy hot, like we win like 8... out of those first 10 games, we're going to see a much different managerial approach than if we win 3 or 4, or even 5 maybe.
Because you're going to play who's hot. You're literally just going to play who's hot. And we both play fantasy, and all our fantasy friends are talking, and we're like, what's this going to mean? Like, am I going to have to drop Bellinger if he sucks?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Who knows?
So, no, I'm really excited, honestly. And it's going to make every game more and more crucial. So it's going to be a very exciting beginning.
Yeah, and I mean, that's something that I'm really looking forward to, is because I feel like as baseball fans, we love it, and we love the 162 games, but you're in a game, and it's like game 73, and it doesn't mean that much. But now, every single game means a lot. Like, if we want to make postseason, how many wins do you think? Like 37, 38 wins?
By the look of it, so New York last year at this time had 38 wins after 60 games. Tampa Bay, 37. Boston was there with 31. I mean, even look at some other leagues, literally the NL East. Philly had 33. So, if you can get like 35, you're sounding pretty nice.
You have a chance. You definitely have potential there. So, I mean, it's definitely within reach. It's a cool goal to look for, but I think we're just super excited in general.
Absolutely. And honestly, we're going to have so many more videos coming up very shortly, kind of breaking down like what do we predict the Blue Jays record to be? Who do we think are going to be some standout players? Going through the lineup, there's so much more content now that baseball is back.
Oh yes. We were going to run out of videos so fast. We were literally talking. It's like, what the hell are we going to do if we don't have any baseball, man? We're starting this podcast. We don't know what to talk about.
Yeah, do we talk about the Leafs?
Literally. But we don't have to do that because they're back. So you can follow us on our Instagram, and that's going to be in the description below. And also check us out on Podbean.
Yeah.
We're currently still trying to figure out the Apple Music thing, but we're making progress right now.
Yeah.
Podbean is the way to go. So check that out in the description.
And also let us know what you guys want to hear. Like, what kind of questions do you want answered? And we'd love to hear from you guys and take your suggestions and feedback and put it in our videos. So let us know.
Great. Thanks so much for watching, and go Jays.
Go!